Hi, my name's Craig Fear. I'm a nutritional therapist. I'm the author of the 30-Day Heartburn Solution. I was recently interviewed where I answered some basic questions about my book, about heartburn, how you can stop heartburn through diet instead of drugs. So I hope you learned something from these questions and I hope you enjoy them.
So how do I stop taking acid blockers?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a little tricky, and I give people two options and try to help people with two ways to kind of go about stop taking their acid blockers, and Nexium and Prilosec, Pepsid. There's two ways you can go about it. The first way is just to kind of go cold turkey. This is definitely something I would recommend if you're just taking the antacids like Tums, Rolaids. If you make the dietary changes for 2 weeks that I explain in the book, very easy. It's not that difficult to get off the antacids. The acid blockers, it is a little bit more complicated because our body can actually become dependent upon them.
Right.
And so sometimes when people stop taking those acid blockers, the acid comes raging back. It's something called RAH, rebound acid hypersecretion, where the body will stop the acid has been quelled for so long, you stop them and the acid kind of pumps, the acid comes raging back. And so it's very difficult for some people to get off their acid blockers if they've been taking them for a long period. So the approach I recommend is a weaning approach, and you go about it very slowly and very gently. So whatever your dose you're taking, again, make sure those dietary changes, you kind of don't just do this without making the changes that I discuss in the book. Diet's the foundation. You work with those dietary changes for at least 2 weeks, maybe a little longer, and then you cut the dose in half, right? And then you start increasing the dose, you start increasing the interval of what you're taking those doses. So you're taking it once a day, then you go once every 36 hours, and you do that for a few days, a few weeks, then you go once every 2 days, once every 3 days, slowly over time. Again, making sure you're eating those good traditional foods so that, and most people are able to do this quite effectively. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, it's a very gentle, I'll explain it a little bit better in the book, but yeah. It's a gentle kind of weaning approach with the acid blockers. Yeah. It can be tricky, it can be. And some people, they really struggle with getting off those things. But again, you want to do it slowly, gently, in a very kind of systematic way.
I'll get your book so I can follow the instructions there.
Highly recommend it.